This video is brought to you by Cooler Master Mobile, featuring the Jazz Pro notebook stand. Check it out at mobile.coolermaster-usa.com. Welcome to day 7 of my experience with the HTC One. So this is my first time taking a long-term crack at Android, and I gotta say the experience has been very positive so far. So I'm gonna start with the stock Gmail app, which I absolutely love. It allows you to easily and quickly switch between all of your different inboxes, and it allows you to manage it through the notification screen to sort of navigate to each one individually. It's very, very seamless. And speaking of seamless, obviously it's a Google OS, so it's very well integrated as far as Google stuff goes, but YouTube is a fantastic experience compared to, here, I'm just going to go back to the very beginning, compared to other platforms. So you can see if I'm not signed into a particular YouTube account, then all I have to do if I want to upload something is I go and I find something. So in this case, maybe there's a video tour of my motorbike, which I am planning to sell on Craigslist, and I go, okay, I want to share this. All I have to do is go, oh, look at that, YouTube is in my top options now that I've done it a few times. I can pick which one I want to throw that on, Linus Cat Tips. I select it, I press upload, and it is ready to go. It is very, very seamless. Once you're logged into YouTube, you can see trending. See, I'm logged in now. All of your uploads, playlists, favorites, and all of that good stuff. So I just love the way that it's really well integrated. I'm tempted to start vlogging based on how easy it is to just sort of take a video. I mean, it's 1080p, it's extremely good quality. I'm really enjoying this phone. It has a 1080p front camera as well. And just how quickly I can upload it, whether I'm on mobile or whether I'm on Wi-Fi, is absolutely great. Automatic synchronization of all of my junk made switching extremely easy. So all of my contacts were synced, no problem. I never dial any other way now. This is amazing. Sifting through your contacts list is just stupid compared to this. So check this out. All I have to do is go slick. So I start, there you go. So I start typing and it finds the right person. And just in case it's not the right person, all you have to do is hold it down and it will give you the options of all the different people. So in this case, it's just multiple entries for Slick. So there's a WhatsApp entry and then I think one other one. So absolutely awesome. I love SwiftKey. So I'm using a, I'm using a 30-day trial of SwiftKey. So let's go ahead. We'll just go right here. It's just much snappier, much more responsive than the stock keyboard. There's no weird sort of delay as the letter pops up showing you what you press. The predictive text is amazing. Within a couple times of typing out things like Linus Tech Tips, it had learned it, it was suggesting it for me. A+ for SwiftKey, definitely worth the $2 or $3 or whatever they're charging for it on Google Play. Power toggles is another great one. One of the first things I complained about with this particular phone running Sense 5.0 is that I didn't have a quick way to turn auto rotate on and off. Oh, well, now I do. So, I mean, this is the strength of Android if you don't like something about it. And there were things I didn't like on day one. The odds are excellent that there's a way to fix it. Power toggles also addressed my distress that I couldn't see the battery meter with a more exact percentage-based readout. Boom, power toggles adds a little battery meter. You can customize it. You can decide which things you want here. So I went with data, rotation, synchronization, Wi-Fi, flash. Yay, don't need a flashlight app anymore. I can just scroll down from the lock screen and I'm ready to go. GPS and Bluetooth. So that does absolutely everything I need it to do, which is great. Sliding notifications away without actually opening anything is a relief from iOS. This worked on Windows Phone as well, but oh, there you go, I'm offline on Skype apparently, but that's extremely handy. And now that I'm used to the multitasking interface, I use it all the time. So a double tap on home gives me all of the things that I've used recently. And I mean, it'll even do things like pause a video that I was in the middle of, which exiting the app and reopening it doesn't necessarily do. So for example, Emit, the app that I use for video playback, oh, there you go. Sure, so something like that. If I just go like this, I can go, okay, I need to reply to, I don't know, an email really quick, blah, 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 YouTube service, something, something, and back to my video, and I'm ready to go. So it's very, very fast. It took me maybe a day or two to actually get used to, but now I'm using it every time pretty much. I still don't really care for Blink Feed very much. I'm more of a producer than a consumer of sort of Facebook, LinkedIn, this kind of social media stuff. So I'm not finding this that useful for myself, but I can see how if you didn't have such a busy feed, it might work pretty well for you. So it's the same reason I didn't end up using the People app on Windows Phone 8. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's just not necessarily for me. And speaking of other things that are unique to Sense 5.0, I'm not sure whether I prefer the more traditional Android side-to-side scrolling, or the more honeycomb, the more gingerbread style up and down. I find myself actually using this one a fair bit, and once I figured out that all you have to do is go in here and manage your grid size so you can add more icons to the screen, it's actually not a lot of scrolling, even compared to this side by side. You can see I haven't properly arranged everything in folders yet. These are still a lot of the stock folders, but I've been super busy. So yeah, there you go. Another multitasking thing that I absolutely love is Chrome's tab switching. So compared to any other mobile OS that I've used, this is outstanding. And then if you're switching between two tabs quickly, you can actually do it quickly. You just swipe from the side and boom, you're on mobile YouTube. Boom, you're back on Social Blade. Boom, you're back on mobile YouTube looking at a completely different mobile YouTube, your own live stream archive if you're narcissistic like that. I want to get into the phone itself a little bit because the HTC One really is a unique piece of hardware. I did drop it already, which was extremely distressing. So I was running to get something that was overflowing in the kitchen and I was like, whoop, I'll put it in my pocket, whoop, oh, it fell on the ground. So it actually fell from pocket height, which fortunately for short people like me isn't that high, to the tile floor, and there's a dent. Where is it? Oop, can't find it. There it is. So there's a dent right here. You can probably actually see it a little bit better from this angle, where this corner is kind of flat now, and then there's another small dent on, I think it's the opposite corner right there. So it did survive. It didn't crack. The fact that the edge, you can see it's actually a little bit wider at the butt compared to the screen, that's probably helpful for protecting it from a fall. I mean, if you dropped it straight flat on its glass like they did in that one drop test on YouTube, then yeah, obviously the screen's gonna break. But if it were to hit at any kind of an angle, it would have to be a pretty extreme angle for it to contact the glass first. So I don't know whether HTC thought of that or whether the curve is so that it fits more naturally in your hand. But there you go, either way, that's an intentional or unintentional benefit. Speaking of the curvature, in spite of its 4.7-inch screen, I have found that I am actually able to type one-handed. It's not that easy. See, it's not that easy, but compared to the 8X, I can reach, and since okay, it doesn't want to. Anyway, so since SwiftKey does a lot of the work for me anyway, that helps a lot. You can see in my Twitter feed, this is some scary game streamer that I follow. It's a pretty scary tattoo that she's got going on there. Anyway, okay. If I had to come up with one complaint about the phone, it would be that the lock button on the top looks an awful lot like the micro USB port here, and they're in the same proportion. So if you were pulling it out of your pocket, think about it this way. If you're pulling it out of your pocket and you want to know the orientation of the phone, at first glance, that could just as easily be your lock button as this. Yeah. So I've had to, I mean, okay, very minor complaint, but I've had to get in the habit of putting my phone in one way and pulling it out the same way so that I know where my lock button is. But there you go. That's pretty minor. Voice quality on my end, I would describe as outstanding, maybe a little bit better than the 8X, whereas people on the other side are anecdotally describing it to me as pretty good. So take what you will out of that. So that's my, my feedback on the speaker and the microphone. I decided to do a bit of a stress test on the battery. Now, HTC wanted me to talk about their battery bar, which is a 6,000 milliamp hour little, it's one of those little USB charge things so you can carry around a little bit of extra battery capacity with you. But what I found is I actually didn't really end up having a desire to use it because my torture test that I did on day 2 involved 6 hours, 6+, so I'm being conservative, 6 hours of playing music on the phone at a reasonable volume. So I was sitting working on my computer, I had it next to me, playing back music. So 6 hours of that. 2 hours of streaming video with Emit, so bearing in mind most of the processing is being done by my home server, not by the phone itself, but either way we are being pretty heavy on the Wi-Fi. And then another 2 hours of listening to music on headphones with a few calls, not a ton of calls that day, but regular Twitter as well as regular emails on the phone. And I had 35% battery left at the end of the day. This is with automatic screen brightness, and I'm not using the power saving mode. I haven't turned off Bluetooth. I haven't really engaged any tricks or any of those battery saving apps to help me save more power. So I'm extremely impressed, and it's sort of brought to my attention that not all X milliamp hour batteries are created equal. Slick's Galaxy S3, he having only owned it for I think less than 6 months, already doesn't make it through a single day on a charge, like at all. In fact, he sent me sort of an amusing screenshot of how ludicrous it's gotten over time. And I mean, remember guys, the thing about a battery is that, here, let me just find this. Okay, well I can't find it, but he sent me a really funny screenshot of his phone saying 25% battery left, 5 minutes remaining. That's a little extreme. It does last longer than that, but it's been pretty unsatisfactory for him. So I'm really interested to see how this lasts over the longer term, because when you compare it to the Galaxy S3, at least you can replace the battery on the S3, whereas this one, you have to rely on the battery inside being very high quality. I mean, my iPhone 4 still lasts me an entire day, even though it's 3 years old, because at least the integrated battery that you can't change doesn't have a horrible memory effect that causes the battery life to go down dramatically. Anyway, I'm pleased for now. Auto brightness is handled extremely well, to the point where I've actually left it on. Any phones I've had in the past, I've never left auto brightness on because I find it drains the battery too fast, but it's pretty smart. So if you cover up the light sensor, it's going to go ahead and dim itself pretty quickly. And it'll dim itself like right way all the way down to the point where it's not uncomfortable. I find if you're like in bed watching a video and it doesn't dim it enough, it's just kind of glaring and uncomfortable on your eyes, and it actually takes it down to a good level. So it's very readable in the day as well. It heats up when I hammer it with tethering, but I think that goes for most phones pretty much at all, because you are stressing both the Wi-Fi and the mobile data chipsets, and the antennas and everything's just kind of going crazy in there. But we didn't see any kind of weird performance issues or anything like that. Unlike my iPhone 4, which worked with tethering maybe half of the time and with half of the devices, we had a couple notebooks and at least one other phone tethered to it all at the same time. So I think that pretty much covers it. This is day 7 of my Android iSwitched, and I'm ruining the conclusion again, but I think I'm pretty much going to be sticking with Android, and I'm pretty much going to be sticking with this phone, unless you guys really want me to try out another platform like maybe BlackBerry or Ubuntu, and then maybe I'll do a 30-day switch to that. But in all likelihood, I see myself going back to Android for the main reasons being app availability. You can find an app for almost anything, as well as the easy integration with services that I use extensively, like Gmail and YouTube. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, and other computer videos. Thanks for watching. This video was edited on a workstation powered by Kingston Memory.